Disclaimer. The video serves informational and entertainment purpose only. The content is considered speculative and should not be treated as confirmed fact. We encourage you to conduct your research and form your conclusion.
It deserves your attention. Ironheart deserves your attention. That's how I knew. I was like, oh, they are desperate to get people to watch this damn show. And after I did my reaction, I kept getting, hey, it wasn't that bad. I just watched it. Hey, I just watched the first 3 episodes. It wasn't that bad.
Watch the series and it's just hot garbage. It still has right now on IMDb a 3.7 out of 10. That's like Snow White level bad. It's the worst thing that Disney streaming has ever produced. So these are the reviews on IMDb. You can see here, 52% now giving it a 1 star.
The MCU just dropped its latest Disney Plus show, Ironheart, and instead of breaking the internet with praise, it broke something else entirely. The ratings, the fan base, and maybe Marvel's last shred of credibility. Dominique Thorne, the rising star cast as Riri Williams, was supposed to carry the legacy of Iron Man into the next generation. With a Mephisto cameo played by Sacha Baron Cohen and a massive marketing push, Ironheart was hyped as the next big thing. But when episodes 4 through 6 finally dropped, fans weren't just disappointed, they were outraged. And just when things couldn't get worse, Dominique fired back. She didn't just address the backlash, she confronted the entire Marvel fan base, calling out critics for what she sees as political attacks on diversity, inclusion, and LGBTQIA+ representation in the series. In her words, there are times when it's justified to focus on DEI and LGBTQ above the story elements. That single quote sent shockwaves across the internet. Marvel fans were split, some furious, others proud. So what really happened with Ironheart? Did Dominique Thorne just ignite a culture war inside the MCU? Or is she standing her ground in the face of toxic criticism? Because this isn't just a story about bad reviews or ratings drops. It's about the future of the Marvel universe and the battle lines being drawn right now. And once you see what's unfolding behind the scenes, you'll realize this story's bigger than just a show. Let's break it all down.
One out there from the media that you are just a racist if you don't like Ironheart. The reason it's getting this backlash, the reason it's getting bad reviews, the reason that fans don't like what they see, it's just because all the damn racists out there, Jay. It's MAGA trolls, it's racist, it's blah, blah, blah. Well, we finally have our first hint of what this show is performing like when it comes to the numbers. Spoiler alert, kind of exactly what we expect. Ironheart ratings in the gutter.
When Ironheart finally dropped its second half, episodes 4, 5, and 6, Marvel was hoping for a turnaround, a redemption arc. Instead, they got a disaster. Even the much-hyped appearance of Mephisto, played by none other than Sacha Baron Cohen, couldn't stop the bleeding. It wasn't just a ratings slump, it was a free fall. Disney Plus viewership plummeted, critics panned it, and fans, they were calling it one of the most forgettable Marvel projects ever released. This was supposed to be Riri Williams' moment, the next big face of the MCU. Instead, the show became a case study in how even a billion-dollar studio can get it all wrong. Kevin Feige and Bob Iger jumped into full-blown damage control, telling the media not to trust the trades, trying to spin the narrative, hoping fans would buy in. They even brought back Robert Downey Jr. to publicly praise Riri, saying she represents the future of the MCU. But let's be honest, no cameo, no endorsement, no PR campaign could cover up what fans were seeing. Weak writing, flat direction, and a lead character who never fully clicked. The reviews rolled in fast, and they weren't just bad, they were brutal. Suddenly, Marvel, once untouchable, was watching one of its core legacy spin-offs get torched by its own audience. And that was only the beginning, because what came next would divide the fandom even deeper. The moment Ironheart hit the streaming platform, the floodgates opened. Thousands of fans rushed to Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and Twitter, not to praise the show, but to tear it apart. Within hours, the review scores tanked. 1-star reviews flooded in like a tsunami, calling it woke trash, another MCU misfire, and an insult to Iron Man's legacy. But it wasn't just trolls. Even longtime Marvel diehards, the ones who defended Phase 4, were now fed up. They weren't angry about inclusion. They were angry that inclusion had replaced the storytelling. And Dominique Thorne? She didn't back down. She fired back, saying the hate was just a symptom of fans who refused to grow with the times. That only poured gasoline on an already roaring fire. The backlash turned personal. Some fans accused Marvel of using diversity as a shield, while others said Ironheart was being unfairly targeted for featuring drag and trans characters. The debate exploded across Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube, sparking a culture war that overshadowed the show itself. Critics called it review bombing. Fans called it honest feedback. Marvel, they called it a misunderstanding. But one thing was crystal clear. The audience wasn't just disappointed. They were betrayed. And now the question wasn't, can Ironheart be saved? It was, can the MCU survive this level of division?
That is all ego. You would never find me with an ego like that, not with my fallopian tubes.
Ironheart is practically unwatchable. Toot toot, Jerry laughs. Yes, there's an alphabet character.
When the firestorm erupted, Dominique Thorne didn't run. She stood in it, head high, eyes forward, ready to face the flames. In a bold and emotional interview, she didn't mince words. "I'm proud of what we created," she said, "and I won't apologize for a show that finally puts people like me and so many others on the front lines." For Thorne, Ironheart wasn't just a job. It was a statement, a declaration that diversity doesn't need permission, and that representation shouldn't be hidden in the background anymore. She went further, calling out fans who, in her words, use words like woke as a cover for their discomfort with change. And while many praised her bravery, others called it tone deaf. They accused her of deflecting from bad writing by turning it into a political battle. But Thorne didn't blink. "There are times," she said, "when focusing on DEI and LGBTQ stories is not just okay, it's necessary, even if it makes people uncomfortable." She doubled down on Slug, the drag sidekick, calling her the greatest achievement of the series. And she celebrated the inclusion of trans characters as a breakthrough for Marvel. Was it courage? Was it defiance? Or a desperate attempt to steer the conversation? Either way, Dominique Thorne didn't just clap back. She made it very clear. Ironheart wasn't just a show. It was her mission, and she wasn't going to let the haters rewrite her story. When the first wave of Ironheart reviews hit the internet, it wasn't pretty. Critics were split. Some called it ambitious, others, an unfocused mess. Leading outlets like Variety praised Dominique Thorne's commitment, calling her a bright light in a dimly lit story. But even they couldn't ignore the show's flaws. Poor pacing, awkward writing, inconsistent tone. Words like confused, preachy, and all style, no soul showed up again and again. Even the much-hyped Mephisto reveal, played by Sacha Baron Cohen, couldn't save it. One critic said bluntly, "This was supposed to be a turning point. Instead, it felt like a desperate distraction." Rotten Tomatoes scores hovered in the mid-40s for critics, while audience reviews were even harsher. Fans flooded the site with one-star ratings, many accusing the show of pushing an agenda over storytelling. Some called the visual effects Disney Plus level at best. Others pointed out plot holes you could fly a Quinjet through. But in the midst of the chaos, a few voices defended the series, praising its risk-taking, its inclusion, and its attempt to break the MCU mold. Still, the consensus was clear. Ironheart had a message, but the execution? That's where it stumbled. In the world of Marvel, expectations are sky high. And this time, it felt like the suit just didn't fit.
Yeah, and it's like the real Tony Stark gets like back somehow, and there's like a moment where she's flying through and he's like, "Who is that?" And she's like, "I'm Ironheart, Mr. Stark." And he's like, "I like that girl." And then he like goes to do something else. Like that would be like the level of something that I think would possibly happen.
First Ironheart reactions are in. Does it defy the haters? Or is it another skippable series? It's always about you, right? It's always about the audience. It's amazing. It doesn't matter if it's the 2024 election or whether it's a Disney streaming product. It's always about like how evil is the actual voters? How evil are the audience?
But Ironheart's backlash didn't stop at Rotten Tomatoes. It spilled out into the broader cultural conversation, turning a Marvel series into a lightning rod for outrage. Online forums, podcasts, YouTube comment sections, they all became battlegrounds in what many are calling the culture war of streaming. Some fans accused Disney of abandoning story for social signaling. Words like woke, forced representation, and identity politics flooded trending hashtags on X. One viral comment put it bluntly, "It's not about inclusion, it's about replacing the fan base with one that claps no matter what." And while some praised Dominique Thorne and Marvel for bravery, others saw it as tone-deaf pandering, a company more focused on making statements than making great stories. Even mainstream commentators jumped in. Talk shows, blogs, and editorial columns questioned, Has Hollywood lost the plot? Is diversity being weaponized as a shield against criticism? The outrage wasn't just from hardcore fans. Even casual viewers said they felt talked at, not entertained. For many, Ironheart became more than a show. It became a symbol of what's wrong or what's right, depending on who you ask. But one thing's certain, the cultural temperature around this series, scorching. And Disney, they're feeling the heat. So, what now? Ironheart was supposed to be the MCU's next big evolution. A fresh face, a new legacy. But after the ratings collapse, fan outrage, and cultural chaos, Disney finds itself at a crossroads. Behind the scenes, insiders say the mood at Marvel Studios is tense, even fractured. Executives are scrambling to shift gears, quietly delaying promotional campaigns and rethinking future projects tied to DEI-led narratives. There's even whispers that upcoming shows, like Agatha, Darkhold Diaries, and Young Avengers, might face last-minute rewrites to course correct. And as for Dominique Thorne, her future in the MCU is uncertain. While she was once positioned as the next Iron Man, a symbolic heir to Tony Stark, now industry analysts are questioning whether she'll be quietly written out or handed a redemption arc. But it's not just about one actress or even one show. This could be the moment Disney finally realizes that ideology alone can't carry billion-dollar franchises. Marvel's entire streaming strategy may be on the verge of implosion, and the ripple effect could reach all the way to Fantastic Four, Blade, and even the long-awaited Secret Wars. Because when fans stop watching, advertisers stop paying. And when audiences feel alienated, the universe shrinks. So what happens next? We're about to find out if the House of Mouse can pull off the comeback of the century, or if this is the beginning of Marvel's collapse.
And why she's frustrated. That's how I feel watching her interviews.
How do you feel about the impact that she's having on young Black girls? And I'm going to be completely honest, on Black women.
You know, this is yet another area that's getting vibrant. It's getting full in the way that it should be.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe was once untouchable. It defined a generation. It turned unknown actors into icons and gave fans a reason to believe in something bigger than themselves. But now, it feels like the magic is fading, and Ironheart, once hailed as the next chapter in that epic saga, has instead become the symbol of something far more troubling: division, disconnection, disappointment. Dominique Thorne's bold defense of diversity isn't the problem, but when storytelling takes a backseat to slogans, when character arcs are replaced with checklists, when audiences feel like they're being lectured instead of entertained, that's when the system begins to crumble. So here's the big question. Are fans being too harsh? Or is Hollywood finally facing the consequences of ignoring what its audience truly wants? Let's open this up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Dominique Thorne being unfairly targeted? Or did Marvel push too far this time? Smash that like button if you made it this far. And don't forget to subscribe for the raw, unfiltered truth behind the glitz and glam of Hollywood. Because this isn't the last time Marvel will be tested. And if Ironheart was the warning shot, what comes next might just shake the MCU to its core. Stay curious, stay critical, and we'll see you in the next breakdown. And that's the tea for today, my little gossip gremlins. If you enjoyed this drama buffet, don't forget to hit that like button like it's your ex's new partner's Instagram. Aggressively and with zero shame. Beauty. Subscribe to Fame Files so you never miss a single scandal, meltdown, or red carpet disaster. I'm literally serving up hot gossip every single day, even if my Wi-Fi begs me to stop. And listen, be a doll and tap that bell too, okay? Because your girl Macy's got bills to pay, celeb egos to roast, and a grocery cart full of overpriced almond milk that won't buy itself. Shopping cart money. So until next time, stay nosy, stay fabulous, and remember, I spill it so you don't have to sip in silence. Bye.